Welcome back to the rest of the story. Well, we're in the 76. The reason we're in the 76 is because I'm going to demonstrate to you another issue that I need to address. Everything that needed to be done to it at the dealership has been done appropriately. And the tractor's been back here for a couple days, but Ryan has actually ran it more than I have. So, I'm just going to address it really quick. What was wrong with the tractor was a blown fuse because we had an oil leak underneath, unrelated to the work that was done in January, from what I understand. And the oil leak caused a short that blew a fuse. Simple as that. Kind of ridiculous that all it takes is a blown fuse and it shuts you down like that, but it is part of farming, I guess. But that's done. The squeaking that we thought was the axle bearings going out was actually the guard for the mechanical front wheel drive shaft that goes under the length of the machine. The bolt that holds that on had broken out, and what was happening is when you're driving forward, the shaft, or the bolt that was sticking through the shaft, I haven't seen it. I haven't crawled down and looked at it even. But they said that the shaft, when driving forward, it didn't hit, but when it was going backwards, in the orientation that it was going, it was hitting that guard just enough where it made that squeaking sound, and that's what that was. So it's back. Hopefully that was all we really have to worry about it. I have an issue with it that was from January that they were worried about. I had something major going on, and I'll show you here. I'll get you out in the open. So what they noticed, this should be fine, with this shifting lever, it has a lot of play in it. So when you go to put it in a particular gear, it doesn't exactly always engage, even though you have clicked it into gear, because the detent is hitting up here, but the shifting arm hasn't made enough contact where it actually moves the tractor between the gears. So I don't know if I can do it in first gear. The biggest thing was shifting down, they said, so I don't know if I can do it with the clutch in, but let's try it. You guys can see the gear. Now if I downshift, yeah, see, now it's not going to do it. Yeah, see right there. I shifted from 11th to 10th. You guys, if you were able to hear that detent, but it didn't shift. Now, what I'm going to do is shake the handle, and it shifted down to 10th. Really not a terrible issue to fix. I've done it before. It's more tedious to actually get to it, but I want to try to do a quick-ish. I should be able to do this in about an hour, less than an hour, hopefully. But the problem is that we're missing. I'm going to get you guys all sick here. There's a simple little clip. I don't have my Nebo light on me, but you guys have to take my word for it as you look down in there. Oh, let's try this. Yeah. You guys can't see it. Fine. We'll do this the hard way. I'm going to go ahead and tear this apart. I'll do a video update video so you can see what I actually had to fix. All it is that clip is missing on the end of the pin that the shifting lever goes through. So I put the clip back in, and that'll tighten it right back up to how it should be. So let me take out a bunch of the panels here and we'll be good to go. Alright, well, I got this torn apart, so at least you guys can see the problem at hand that I am going to be addressing. So, where this thing's gonna either fall out the door on me, or there, you can fall on my head now. Alright, where we're at is right down here, and I think you guys can see, of course you can see, this is the problem right here. Now what it's doing, now you see that pin that I just pointed at? When I go to put the tractor in gear, going forward is no problem. I mean, you can jump through the gears just fine. Now the problem is when I want to shift down, okay, but the lever isn't fully engaging because it really should be back here when it's all the way up there. So you can see it's been a problem for a while. This is actually the second time I've done this. All there is a spring clip that holds that in, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't really want to fight trying to get that pin out of there. We've had this whole piece out before. Did not enjoy it. So the plan is to go ahead and put 2 new washers in behind it, because that's what I did last time. It really tightened it all back up. Put a new clip in it, and we'll be good to go. I'll show you what it looks like, or how it shifts once we put the new washers in behind it. And you can tell, you can see some of the wear and tear on it that the pin has on it, or has caused. The hole that actually goes through is kind of wore out, and this is one of the washers, if you guys can see, that was originally in there. I found them. I mean, the other one is right there, and the other one back there that was holding that in. But there's 2 washers in behind it, and I'm going to replace this one. This one, I doubt the camera is going to do it any justice. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. How much this is actually worn out. You see at the tip of my thumb, that's an indentation from either the clip. It really looks to me like it was the clip, the old clip that was in there. Yeah, it was. So the old clip probably got wore out and ended up breaking, because that's clearly from the clip wearing on the face of that washer, and this, you can see where it's all nice and shiny, is from the lever moving back and forth. So that's what happens when you do run older equipment. I mean, we're not talking like as old as like 46. I want to say this is a 1994 model. I'm not one of those individuals that knows the year and serial number of all the equipment that he runs. I've come across several older farmers that do that. They know everything that has ever been done to their machinery ever, and no, I never really, maybe it sounds kind of harsh, but I was never one to really care that much about when the machine was manufactured. I'm more worried about the here and now, as long as the machine is doing its job. With everything that it's had done to it, with this that I'm doing to it right now, I do believe Hannah had a little bit of trouble last fall when she was running this. She was hauling in fodder bales, corn fodder, with my dad, and she had problems pulling it into neutral, where it didn't want to come all the way back, and that is what will cause that, because you'll bring it back and it doesn't always want to come out of first, because that, without that washer in there and that clip not on there, the machine is in first gear right now. I mean, that's neutral, that's first, but there's with that slop and that play on there, if you don't pull this lever straight back into neutral and over, what you can do and cause some pretty wicked damage is it's currently in first, and if you're not pulling it straight back, which I believe everybody has been guilty of, what happens is it allows you to come around that plastic piece, yeah, and not actually put the machine into neutral. And what happens is if you get into a hurry, which, you know, you get around this kind of machinery, everybody seems to get in a hurry, which is the first thing that you shouldn't do is get in a hurry around heavy machinery, but we're all guilty of it. So it's in first, you can slide it around just like that. See your shifting, the plastic here that actually controls, or that your lever runs into and actually runs up and down here. This is where your shifting is at. I don't know if the GoPro's picking that up or not. Probably not. But the tractor's still in gear while the lever is in neutral. And if you're not aware of what your machine is doing, as I would say it's still trying to go ahead or forward in first gear, and you try to bring that back around to neutral, you are going to cause damage. So, I really don't like doing that. Fixing this lever like this, that'll allow it to properly bring itself into neutral when you pull the lever back, and you're good to go. My problem is I've clocked in the most hours on the 7600, and I'm just used to problems like that. I mean, when things wear, you just get used to it, like shifting down from 10th to 9th, 9th to 8th. I just got it where I'm used to shifting. I always put my hand and rest it on this arm here, and I'm just I do it without even knowing that I'm doing it, but I always pull it back into gear, and then I actually move the lever back and forth. I mean, just because I'm used to how the machine responds after running it for that long. I told you this was going to follow me. I'm going to go ahead and put those washers in, and I'll show you what that does when it's fixed, and we'll try to get this video shortened up here. All right, the final part to this little series, I got it back together, and all it took was a simple little clip and 2 washers. Now you can see that shifting lever stays tight like it's supposed to now, so I'm not gonna go to the trouble of starting the tractor up, but at least when I pull it back through the gears now, it does, I can feel it does fully engage. It's not worth starting the tractor up, but yeah, that'll make a huge difference when it comes to shifting this tractor. I mean, they ain't gonna let me do it, which is good. But when that clip is in, you can't pull it from first to park without having it in neutral. So awesome. And there we are. See, I think the big problem with it is, whoops, second here. All right. I think the big problem with it is what is actually holding it on. For the amount of use that gets, just a little clip, which in school I believe we called it an E-clip. On the farm, I think we've called it some other words, and none of them I think are appropriate for the video, but this was supposed to be a heavier one than the one I have in, but I actually bent this one so it's not made to fit. and I didn't feel right on putting a bent part into that lever, because I'll be tearing it back apart this summer to fix it. It'll make it a lot easier for anybody that's running it. I mean, for me, I can jump in it and run it, but if you're not used to running it, like Britt, Hannah, it just makes it easier for everybody. Plus, I don't have to worry about any transmission damage. So that's it. And I really don't know if I should say this, but the 76 should be ready to go for spring, for summer, for making hay and everything else. It is getting a little busy up front here. The reason I say that is because if you guys saw my live stream the other night, I did mention that I was kind of halfway looking for a sprayer, and I'm probably not going to go that route this year until I see how the hay actually works out. And anybody that's actually done it themselves or has done something similar to it with just streaming on a liquid fertilizer as opposed to using dry fertilizer, I'm planning on putting down the first application like in late March and April or so will be dry, but then in season I would like to try doing a liquid just so it gets down to the roots and the plant can uptake it that much quicker. You're not trying to time it with rain quite so much. And I'm planning on using the 46 on the 6-row cultivator, spacing out the hoses that I have on the cultivator evenly across it, and then just try dribbling some liquid fertilizer after first crop or second crop or whatever I end up doing, and just seeing what kind of response I get. Do a couple low tech trials, try to do them simple, as opposed to buying a sprayer and trying it with the sprayer and finding out that I'm really not satisfied with how that performs. So if I went with the sprayer and I ended up putting it on the 76 even, that's another controller I'd have to have in here. I do have the bale applicator, which will be a on-off switch and a controller that'll actually have to go up in here, and I do have that hay moisture tester that is meant to be put into the baler. I'm not sure if I'm going to put that on the tractor or if I'll just use it as the probe for the bale probe and just get out and manually check the bales, but that'll be one more thing in here too. So I mean, this tractor is going to get kind of cluttered. I mean, I'll have the bale monitor, the rear view screen, camera, the acid applicator controller, and then the moisture tester in here. That's a lot of screens for, I mean, that's more than we have for putting corn and beans in the ground, but I don't know. We're trying to make quality hay, so we'll just have to wait and see what the spring brings. Now that this tractor is back, hopefully the weather stays somewhat mild. Yes, the 630 disc is back. I want to pull out that 735 Moco, and then our round baler. I'd like to get it up here and get that acid applicator on it and go through the pickup. So those will be future videos. Not sure when. Got to get around to it. By the time you guys watch this video, I should have been to a cow sale, so I'd say wish me luck, but hopefully I bought something. If I don't find something tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm going to be buying cows, or if I'll be able to find what I'm looking for. But and then I have an auction, another auction, equipment auction that I'm watching too. So the next couple days are kind of busy. So with that, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. Take it easy. Keep in touch. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.